Hello and welcome. I'm Patrick Curtis, Chief Monkey of Wall Street Oasis, and this is Monkey to Millions, a show where you get a front row seat as I mentor young students and professionals to try and help them break into their dream jobs. In the first cohort, you'll meet 4 students, all preparing for intense job interviews while trying to also balance a personal life and schoolwork. The goal of this show is to shine a light on the struggles of trying to break into competitive positions with a non traditional background and to give you a roadmap for your own success. My hope is that as you get to know these 4 impressive students, you are inspired to dream big. Remember, these are real people and this is their true story. Let's get to it. In this session, we learn that Andrew had a relaxing break and is now looking to gear up for his next sprint into the spring semester. We take a quick look at his revised resume and talk about the plan on building up his connections in New York leading up to his trip there, which is now planned for late April. With a summer internship already lined up, it's tempting to take the foot off the gas, but I want to make sure that he's really taking advantage of the light course load and that the upcoming trip to the Big Apple in a few short months is very fruitful. But first, take a listen from Andrew himself from the weeks leading up to this session.
Patrick, just a review of the last week and a bit. Just finished up my last week at PSP Investments on Friday around noon. Didn't really do too much that week, kind of just got my final reviews, everything like that, and closed off whatever I was working on and poured that into my seniors. Kind of from there, my other time, I ended up fixing up my resume to make it more like New Yorkified, I guess you can say. So I'll finish that up. I'll forward that to you today. I'm just at the airport right now, so you can probably hear that. But I'll forward that your way. And kind of additionally, I've started to collect a list for my New York contacts, and at the same time, I'm also building my Toronto base. I've actually had a few people reach out to me from the podcast, just some random people that we end up having a few mutuals with on LinkedIn, so kind of see where those go, and it's kind of basically it. When I get back, I'm just going to start pounding the pavement a little more on the New York side of things, and kind of also the Excel course was pretty comprehensive. I think I'm 4 or 5 modules in, and I'm just gonna start hammering away at that this following week while working on the CFA case competition, what have you. So yeah, that's basically it. Looking forward to start compiling that list even more and start reaching out. It's only 3 months away or so, yeah. So it's looking good from this end, and also, starting to reach out to recruiters that I interviewed with in this season, just letting them know that I had this position and see if they'd have any off-cycle internships. I know RBC, M&A would be one group that I'd be interested in for Toronto, and I had good traction there before, so kind of just see where things go. And that's about it. Looking forward to our call, I think 2 weeks from now, so touch base then. Just a little update from kind of our last chat 2 weeks ago. Didn't really do too much this last week, just as school started getting a little heavier. In one of my strategy classes, we had to do a few cases, and we just got assigned groups, and it kind of just went downhill from there. And on top of that, the CFA challenge, just putting a lot more time in that with my team, so probably only got out 10 requests. It was a pretty lazy week, and probably should be getting out more. But I ended up having a call set up for next week, so kind of seeing where that goes. He's actually an alum from the school right next to mine here in Halifax, so kind of see where that goes. So he's at Allianz, I think it's private debt, so hopefully have a good chat with him, kind of see what his whole process was like from getting from Halifax to New York. I see he was a pretty small boutique. Not sure the name. I'll do a little bit more research before I go on the call with him. So kind of just goal going forward the next little bit is just try to understand what he does so I can have a productive call. Get more messages out, and just try to finish up all my little cases and everything that I have to do for school. So that's about it. Check back in a little bit. Just kind of a little recap of the last week. I think we're having a call either next week or the week after. So I ended up having that call with a guy from Allianz. Got really good insights there. Um, Turns out he's actually did high school in New York and did all of his internships in New York. So the switch wasn't as hard for him. So I mean, not the best advice, but kind of shot on my resume and got some more questions from him. Just he thinks that I'd be able to probably make the transition to New York fairly easily. Just having that dual citizenship like I have is critical apparently. So that's pretty good. Also sent off probably another like 20 targeted connections, mostly to like Queens alum basically. Not the best hit rate from them, but whenever I went to like some of the U of T people, like especially more in the real estate, they accepted pretty quickly. But I sent like the connected message, but no real responses yet. So on that, of the U of T guys and the real estate guys, was probably like 10, and like 3 or 4 responded, and that was like pretty much just today I started doing those guys. So pretty hopeful on that front. And yeah, just gonna keep on it from here. And that's kind of the recap of the last week. So I'll be uploading this one. I don't think I uploaded my last week's one, so they'll be going up together. Yeah, we'll chat next week.
All right, Andrew, what is this, episode 6?
I don't even know. I think we had, at some point we were doing like 2 a month, but now we just started slowing down a bit. But
Yeah, I mean, we had the emergency private equity session early on, which kind of threw us for a loop.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it'd be great to just catch up. It sounds like you were taking it easy over break a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I flew back from Montreal to Halifax just before Christmas, kind of just hung out all Christmas break, and honestly didn't really do too much. Actually, on the day I was at the airport, I redid my resume, and I think I just flipped that to you. Maybe you did or didn't get it. I think I sent it like right before my flight, but I mean, if not, we can go over that now.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Yeah, and then kind of besides that, me and some of the other like investment fund kids at my school started like the CFA Research Challenge. So we started taking a deep dive into Canadian telecom, so that ever exciting industry. But yeah, no, it's honestly been like that over the past couple of weeks. Just trying to figure out all my dates too. We actually got our Toronto dates figured out, and I can pull that up in a second. It should be, I think it's like towards the end of February. So that one's not like a huge like, it's not very urgent for me because I already have quite a few people I can call in there. But I found out that
you also have the internship there.
Yeah, and the New York trip got pushed till the end of April now, so it's the 20th to the 23rd.
That's great.
So that's supposed to coincide with the CFA Research Challenge. So if we win that, we get our flights paid for and everything. But I mean, even if we don't win our like local one, I think we still get to go, and I think that'd be a great opportunity there. I mean, I haven't reached out to too many people there yet, but I think yeah, even if I start just now, I think I can get a pretty good group together and just set up a ton of coffee chats. So that's kind of where I am now. I'm working 2 days a week, so I restarted where I did my first internship ever in like the tax auditor position. So I'm going back to that. So I'm actually going there at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and then 8 a.m.
You're helping them out. You're starting back up and just helping them out.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, so that's just a casual work.
You getting paid for it?
Yeah, it's like a little more than $20 an hour. I mean,
not bad.
Not insane work, but it's all good.
So let me share my screen here. It's a little crazy. I have like 500 tabs open, but I can still see the upper right. But so what did you change here? I see this dual citizen Canada, United States of America. You might want to say USA there. So it looks a little weird with the wrapping.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess you want 2 rows or 2 lines. Maybe to get to, you might be able to just put your address or put an address up there.
Yep.
So you can have dual citizen of Canada and the USA as the upper right, and then have like a non-bolded address in there
Okay.
for that line, just
Yeah,
so there's some balance. What else did you change in here? So you added.
I added that in just to kind of have it there to show people what I'll be doing next summer. And I pretty much just took it was either like WSO template or some other template that I found that would be like a summer analyst, like typical roles.
Yeah,
I
in
kind of
terms
just put that
of is the name Desjardins Capital Markets? That's the name of the company.
Yeah.
Is it what you're gonna be doing mostly capital markets work? Remind me, or do you do any?
That's kind of just the name of the company. So I think it's mostly IB.
Yeah, I mean capital markets under IB, but typically it's considered under IB, but still. Okay, cool. And then you have the transaction experience, which this is great.
Yeah. So the first one there, it's kind of like an ongoing partnership that they have with this company in San Francisco. So it's like they've committed like 300 million in this one fund basically, and they kind of just go through it on that basis and evaluate deals like as they come. And then with the 42 million industrial portfolio.
So the 300 million, it's not like a one deal. It's like more like they funded a portfolio. They put money aside for a fund where they make acquisitions out of that in multifamily.
Yeah, exactly. Because the San Francisco market's actually pretty cool. So like it's really fragmented. There's not very many like high-rise apartment buildings. So like there's a pretty unique like position where you can acquire like all these like probably between like 10 and like 30 unit buildings that aren't like that big, and they have like a huge room there's a huge upside for rentals.
Oh yeah, rentals
because they've been held like down for so long, because actually a lot of the tenants had actually like been there since like the 90s. So there's a really cool opportunity to renovate that.
That's interesting. And then specifically, so like in terms of transaction experience, you got to be careful with here is that they may ask you like specific numbers, like especially if you get into like a private equity interview.
Sure.
So like to be able to talk about, specifically the $300 million acquisition of the portfolio, talk about like the portfolio's overall numbers and metrics.
Yeah,
I think is going to be important.
Would
you feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah, like a lot of like the net levered returns would be like upwards of 10%. Like cap rates, they usually like acquire like around like a 3.5 cap, expand a little bit, probably closer to like a 4.5 cap, and that's kind of like the whole portfolio is like right around that. And
okay, like cool. Yeah, as long as you can talk to it, I think it's important and just give an opinion in terms of like you said, yeah, you think it's a great investment because it has a lot of upside with what you just mentioned. I think that's great.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of this other one that closed, industrial portfolio, so the responsibility included updating financial models based on bids submitted, ensuring the market industry address. SVP, Senior Vice President?
Yeah.
Okay. So what else did you change on this? It looks pretty, besides, so Desjardins obviously is the big one.
I think I moved the impact fund from experience to leadership. And I think that was basically it. I took out the tax auditor position because it wouldn't be very relevant to what I'm applying to now. So kind of my thought process would be maybe to add a little bit more either on PSP or maybe more interest and or maybe more skills, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty strong right now, honestly, man. I wouldn't worry too much more about the resume. Just looking at it, like your Q and GPA looks great. Your expected date of graduation, it's kind of haven't you pushed it back a little bit?
Not like officially, but I haven't really like applied for a graduation yet. So I mean, I can always change it to the May. That's not a huge deal, but I know, we talked about changing that for fall internship. So yeah, that's definitely something.
Just a thought as you start kind of using it. Just be cognizant of like where you're actually, where you're sending things, saying January.
Yeah, where the timeline is basically.
Especially US, because I think there'll be a lot more questions versus if you have May 2021 in there. It'll be
May is like the standard like on cycle hiring, right?
Yeah, May or June. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm trying to think. So that means May 2021. That's basically,
Year and a bit. Yeah.
year and a bit away. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So yeah, it's good you got, thank goodness for this position. It's a big win when you got that. And you're going to be starting in May. You start that early. Okay.
Yeah. So it's May to end of August. So
That's
yeah, I was
super
talking to
long.
my buddy. Yeah, I was talking to my buddy who's going to New York, and I don't think he starts till like mid-June. So or like right around
The
there.
fact that
So
you go all the way to August too is insane.
yeah.
They're getting a nice long look at you.
Yeah.
See if they want to extend you. Do you know what the offer rate is for returns there?
No, I'm not very sure. The guy I chatted with who's the only alum from my school like ever there.
Yeah.
He actually interviewed me for a super day. He said they just do it basically on what their requirements are. It's a smaller shop. So
And is it how many summer analysts typically go in? Like 5, 3?
I think it's only like 2. So
2. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like going to be very important that you're kind of recruit. It kind of stinks that it goes all the way through the summer.
Yeah.
If it ended in like end of July,
Mhm.
then you could go to New York and like do some crazy like accelerated recruiting of some sort for like those last few seats that don't get filled.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be your best bet. But the fact that you're in Toronto is a huge win in terms of other opportunities there. Like, so you should be, because you don't know what's going to happen, because it's a small firm with only 2 summer analysts. You should be pretty aggressive throughout the summer in terms of like continually building up your network and meeting with people.
For sure.
Talking about your deals, keeping people updated, thanking them. And yeah, and then once you get there and you can have like a deal or 2 on here, definitely reducing some of this.
Yeah, I definitely see a ton of room, like especially like impact fund or even president of the accounting society. Like there's so much I can take out there.
Yeah, even the Russell metals, you could probably get it to 2 lines, that bullet,
Yeah, no, for sure.
Are the fonts right here? They look right. Yeah, I'm just making sure. I don't know if I'm going blind or what, but I just want to make sure.
Oh, one mistake. The 6 analysts, I still haven't capitalized analyst.
Yeah, and the 4 looks bold, but that could just be from the PDF.
I think that's PDF. Yeah,
that's the PDF. I think. Yeah, there's some sizing issues. I think and this is right. The bullets are smaller font than the titles, and the selected transaction experience is a little more indented, which I don't have a problem with. Yeah, I think overall, I think it's pretty strong. I wouldn't waste too much more time on the resume so much. I think it's looking pretty polished. The only thing I might change is this expected graduation date.
Just the date, and then the cut down United States just to USA. And
exactly.
Then throw in an address. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Exactly. And then in terms of specifically your networking, you want to talk about that a little bit? And just, I know you took it easy a little bit for for a while.
Yeah, well, like kind of right now, like my biggest thing is just getting like a whole list of names just together and kind of just starting to fire off emails on like I'm doing like this is kind of like high level me, maybe like have a phone call within these next couple of weeks. So like we're mid-January now, I don't go till late April. So if I can plan a call for between now and maybe like March, I think that'd be pretty big. And then just
plan a call with who? What do you mean plan a call with?
Like someone in New York, just to let them know like who I am and everything, just give them a high level, and then kind of just mention at like the end of our call, or just say, yeah, I'll be in New York for like CFA challenge, stuff like that.
Start booking your calendar.
This is when I'll be there.
Do you know the dates? Like, can you go a couple days early or a couple days later?
Yeah, I think I will, because it's, what did I tell you? It was the
end of April or something.
24th.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's going to be important. I think the good news is it got pushed back. That's actually good for you. Gives you that much more time to make sure your days are full. Have you started the LinkedIn outreach a little bit in terms of New York?
I think we just cut out there for a little bit.
Yeah, I cut out. Have you started the LinkedIn outreach for New York a lot or just a little bit?
No, not very much at all. Like if anything, like I was just more of trying to like touch base with people in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll start the New York one pretty soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm nervous to tell you like go all in with New York because you already have the Toronto summer analyst gig, and like
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how big the market is for IB in Toronto. Like it's definitely bigger than Montreal or anything like that. Like it's compared to anywhere else in Canada, it's the place to be. But compared to New York, it's tiny. At the same time, you're there. You're going to be there all summer, so it's a huge advantage for landing something there. Versus New York, you're going to have like this very finite time to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little nervous to like have you spend like 3 months heavy networking in New York just to set up 3 or 4 days and then potentially have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be nothing. You'd still have a good network there, but it's something that might actually pan out for end of the summer too, as you kind of are keeping them updated. But so, yeah, I think depending on how fast you can push, what's your course load look like?
I'm only in like 2 actual courses, 1 online. So
Nice.
I mean, like I can have like quite a bit of free time just to shoot off messages.
Are you trying to party right now? Or are you gonna
Like,
be honest?
only really on weekends.
On weekends, okay. I mean, now that you have the summer analyst gig, like it's tough not to right now. It's tough to keep going because it is your college days. So I would say like in terms of like splitting your week, like if you think of your classes taking up, let's say like 10 hours a week,
Mm-hmm.
you're in class for like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And you're doing like 5 hours of homework max, 6 hours of studying. So
Yeah.
really only 10 hours a week. If you think of like the rest of it, like spending 30 hours on networking, you can do a lot of damage
Mm-hmm.
and still have a great time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly.
So I guess the question is like the focus. I think over the next month, what you should do is see what your hit rate is on the New York requests are. So are you just like I think you can do about 100 a day.
Yeah. I think you mentioned that.
And I think you should be doing 100 a day because once you do a filter search, it's literally click, copy, paste, click, copy, paste. Click. Probably take you an hour.
Yeah. Exactly.
Once you get fast, it'll take you an hour once you get your message down. You know what I mean? I think you could do 100 a day, which means in a month you're looking at about 3,000 connection requests, of which probably a third of them will accept, I'm guessing. So could have 1,000 connections to bankers in New York within a month.
Mm-hmm.
Connections meaning nothing, like they just connected you on LinkedIn, means very little. But then from there you can send emails.
Yeah, exactly.
And so from there, then it's all about starting. Then it becomes a little more tedious because then you actually have to like look at their background and be a little bit more thoughtful. See, once you see who connects to you, you can say, "Hey, you recently connected on LinkedIn. Thanks for accepting." And I can help you structure this email. I'd love to get on a call for just 10 minutes to hear a little bit more about your time at XYZ Bank. I currently have an internship lined up for next summer in Toronto, but I'm also potentially interested in working full time in New York once I graduate. You can put parentheses like I'm a dual citizen.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that, and then hope to chat soon, and maybe give them a couple times that you're free or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if you do something like that for, even if let's say it's only 500 people and you reach out over the following month to, let's say, a couple hundred people, I'm pretty sure you'll get probably like 30 to 40 calls. And from that, potentially 10 to 20 meetups in person, which should be enough to even potentially get you an offer in New York for this summer, which I don't know if you want to take, because I don't know if you want to burn the bridge. of digital, but it could be something where you could just be like, hey, I really potentially interested. I just don't want to turn it down unless it's like for an amazing opportunity. Yeah, how would you feel about that? I don't know. That's kind of that's a tough question because it's like it's a loaded question. It's one of those things where like, do you renege and da 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 da. It totally depends on the situation, I guess, and I could give you some guidance when that comes about. Because that's a super tough thing. You don't want to like you get a super competitive offer in Toronto. You don't want to like renege on it.
Yeah.
Unless it's like just it's an obvious like big upgrade or whatever. So, what do you think? Are those numbers? Do they sound reasonable or do they sound crazy?
No, it doesn't really sound like that crazy. Like it's pretty easy to reach out and everything. So
yeah, the initial connection request is super easy. I think the emails are going to take a little bit longer, not because writing an email takes long, because you can have a template that is just
it's just tailoring it to the person.
Tailoring it, but there you can even have a template that has like a couple things in there. And if you're smart about how you kind of group your contacts and potentially how you're searching for them, I don't know if I think it was Grace I was talking to, and we were going through LinkedIn, and I was showing her, or maybe it was John, and basically I was showing them you could do a lot of if you have the Sales Navigator, just like
I think you were showing me that one.
Yeah, was it us? Yeah, so you can do a lot of searches based on them being. I would start with people who have like Canadian background that are.
Yeah, I think I did like Canadian degree from like this school or that school.
And have you connected to those people yet, or have you not?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. So like that's like immediate, like right away, like after we get off the call.
Yeah,
that should be like the first thing you do, because getting on a call with them before you get out there in April is huge.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Awesome. What else can I help you with? I mean, it sounds like you're smart because you slow down. Like you have a nice month here, or a couple months here with this semester.
Yeah, like
you can do a lot of damage.
Like my only thing now is just LinkedIn. I mean, that's kind of straightforward. Like,
yeah, a lot of calls.
Yeah.
I think let's talk a little bit about those calls, those intro calls, because it's really important that you come across as not just like, great, thanks, tell me more about this. Like, you have to actually sound like you're interested, and the questions you ask should be not so detailed and try hard that it makes it like you're trying to sound smart, but not so generic that it's like you didn't even give any thought.
Yeah.
So like if they're in capital markets, like ask questions related to cap markets. If they're in M&A, ask questions related to M&A. Like, don't just be generic. Like, what's it like to work? What's the culture like? Ask more specific questions. Like, what are the deal teams like there? Are they pretty lean in terms of analyst associate, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Just to give them a sense that you really understand what the job is like. You really understand, like you're asking smart questions about like the deal flow, pitching versus actual deal flow, what their opinion is on the strongest groups, especially if it's a more junior person.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can be a little bit more like, hey, thanks for doing the call. What, I'd love to just get the lay of the land of inside of XYZ for, of Houlihan, let's say. I know you guys have a great, restructuring group and healthcare, and what other groups do you think would be like the most, like the best deal flow in there, and blah, blah, blah. Then they're gonna be like, oh, well, he knows he's done his homework. He knows this, and this. He's asking for like a little bit more information, like the deeper knowledge. And you're gonna get really knowledgeable on just a bunch of different banks, which is really helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, just be careful, because if you go into these with like super nonchalant and super generic questions, because you're just too lazy to like look up stuff about it, and then it can just like backfire.
Yeah, for sure.
And you'll have an occasional blowout, an occasional jerk that has a bad day, and but then I bet you most people will be super nice.
Yeah.
Any questions? Anything else about kind of the way forward? I think that's it. It's just grinding now, man.
Yeah, like I feel like
I
the
think
biggest grind, was getting the job, honestly. Like,
yeah. So your weekly updates. All I want is like, just give me numbers.
just numbers.
Just give me numbers. Be like, I requested, 500 to connect with 500 people this week, and looks like my connections went up by 300. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Like,
And be like,
I,
you're crazy. You think I'm crazy, but like, it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt to be connected to them. It's only potentially can help you.
yeah, like, yeah, honestly, like,
Unless you're a jerk and you make a bad comment to somebody and then they like tell you all their friends, like that's the only way it could hurt you.
no, I don't think it's gonna be too tough. Like from here, it's just the networking now. Like interview season's out of the way, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be like mostly smooth sailing. So
No, yeah, now's the more fun part, dude. If you look at it as like fun to just talk with people and learn more, and you're not dreading it,
mhm.
you can actually learn a lot in this stage. And actually, you should genuinely ask questions you're curious about, because you have this. The beauty is you already have the summer analyst offer, and in your outreach, you can say that. So it's
Yeah,
not like
they
you're
know I'm
desperate.
not looking for something. Yeah,
That's the best time to be talking, because then they feel like it's a more genuine conversation about, okay, this kid's just really trying to learn about Houlihan. Hey, this kid's really just trying to learn about Baird. Hey, this kid's really just trying to learn about Lazard. That
mhm.
type of stuff, and not, hey, this kid just wants a summer internship. Oh man, not another one. Like, we don't have a summer internship. You know what I mean? I think I
Yeah,
cut out for you for a second there, but I think
yeah. No, just the fact that you have a job, because whenever I did that, it was like last summer after I got the fall gig. I had like so many calls, and it was so easy because I'm not looking for anything from you. I want to learn more about the industry, and that's pretty much what I did.
and that's huge, because they may even be willing to like meet up with you in person, and then that's super powerful. That's super
Hmm.
powerful, because then when you reach out, April's beautiful too, because April, May, June, you can maybe reach out late June,
Yeah.
ask what's going on, be like, hey, I really love what you told me about XYZ. And if you use, I don't know if you've seen Right Inbox. Do you have Right Inbox? Do you get it or no?
I don't think I had that one. It was just the one that you set like a reminder and
So let
basically
me share
you'll
my,
email them back. Yeah.
yeah, let me share my screen. So check this out. So if I do Andrew right here, and I can be like, thank you, thanks. And then I have templates I can use. I have signatures, the reminder right here. But the beauty
Mm.
thing is these notes, private notes for yourself. So I can be like, Houlihan, restructuring plus healthcare, the best, deal flow,
Hmm.
whatever. This is just like an example. And then save that note. So like later down the line, when I'm reaching back out, I can be like, what's this note? Or I can be like, has two kids, and da da da,
Yeah, exactly.
7 and 9, has whatever, any sort of personal notes you can do and put in there will really help you in terms of the effectiveness of when you reach back out in June, so that they're like, oh yeah, Andrew, what's up, man? And so I think right after those meetings, either on the phone or in person, it's super important that you take notes,
Hmm.
mark down three to five things that you can just jog your memory.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be huge.
How else can I help, man?
Honestly, right now, I feel like I'm just in like a little bit of like a relaxed zone, and I don't really
You
know
want to
like what
kick?
I
You want to kick? Like, get going.
probably. I feel like I should be doing more, but I don't
Well,
know. I don't know what I
if
should
you're
be doing.
actually spending, I mean, think about this. I'd said 10 hours of school, and if you actually just work 40 hours, 30 hours of networking is a lot.
Hmm.
You can do a lot of work. I mean, you can't even do, the thing is, you got to kind of do it in a rolling portion, because even connecting to 100 people, if only a day, requesting 100 people a day, if let's say what your conversion rate is only 20 people accept, I think it's gonna be much higher, because especially if you have a little note in there being like, hey, I saw you made the transition from Toronto to New
Yeah,
York and IB. I'd love to connect.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
something a little bit personal like that. I bet you the connection rate is gonna be like 60%, 70%.
Yeah, and I feel like let me check right now. Maybe I can share my screen and show
Sure.
how many mutuals I'd have. I just gotta people.
I'm gonna check I'm gonna check it too, just to see how many people you're connected to right now. Oh, you're not even at
Got
500
right
yet,
around like
man. Come
450.
on. Because when you hit 500, it goes 500 plus. That's why I'm teasing you.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. Here, 1 second. Share screen.
Okay, let me jump back in.
Yeah, so
I'm with you.
here's like the first few. I think most of them are honestly like people who worked at PSP. It looks like this guy's from like Queens.
Yep. Yeah, there are a lot of Queen alums.
Yeah, I can generally just
BMO.
tell from like kind of like who the connections are because I already have quite a few. No, that's the guy who interviewed me. That's funny.
Oh, cool. Oh, these
Okay.
are mutuals. These are second degree.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. But a
So
lot of
yeah,
them.
quite a few. This guy actually had the same exact position as I did at PSP, so that's pretty funny.
And now he's at Blackstone.
Yeah, well, so he did. I met like another mutual. So this guy here, he said he basically just did IB with him in Montreal, transitioned to RBC. So like BMO to RBC, Toronto to like RBC in New York, and then he made the switch. So
Pretty solid.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so
So you have a lot.
quite a lot, like 26,000. Even then, like all filters. Let's just throw in Queens.
That's
I think
Cambridge. That's Cambridge.
Oh crap. Not the one I
It,
want.
it doesn't want you to select King for some reason.
There we go. Yeah, 189.
That's
So
awesome.
I feel like they would have quite
A lot of them will say yes.
welcoming. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them will say yes. A lot in PE.
Yeah, well, so Queens has one of their investment funds. They send quite a few people to New York, like Goldman, quite a lot,
Yeah.
like every year. So
Why
that's
didn't you
pretty
go to
crazy.
Queens, man, before you knew any better?
I wish I knew.
I know.
Oh well.
You found Wall Street Oasis too late.
I know.
It's all good. No, yeah, this is a lot, man. This is a ton.
This is just Queens. So
yeah, it's one school, so that's awesome.
like Ivy, yeah.
But like literally, dude, you could do that in 2 days. You could request all those in 2 days and then email within a week to all of them.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Especially if you have a smart template that makes you that you can to all these people. It's like the same kind of connection.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see you went to IB and and made the transition over to New York.
Yeah.
So I think
just kind of would love to hear more about that and kind of what are you like biggest challenges so far? Or that would be like on the call, but still, like I think it would be quite easy.
Yeah. So okay. So what's the plan? What do you think's reasonable?
Like per week? I don't know. I feel like from what we just saw, I'm gonna expend them all within the week.
Well, no, you can do 100 a day.
Kind of after that, like I don't know, maybe looking. I think I could hit maybe people who went to like University of Texas, like anything like that. Kind of just going back to where I grew up, just kind of start mentioning that throughout. Because that's what I did with the guy from Brookfield when I talked to him for my interview. We both grew up in Texas. So, I mean, we had that common link, and he's like, "Oh, where'd you grow up in Texas? And did you do this, and this? Like, what sports?" Like, pretty much took up the bulk of the call. So it's quite easy.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really smart because there's a ton of McCombs alum.
Mm-hmm.
U of Texas is huge. So if you use that angle, for sure.
Yeah. I think
a lot of people at U Texas, not all of them are from Texas, but I'd say a big percentage.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really smart, and that's
going to be a good angle to play.
That's going to open up the floodgates in terms of how many people you can hit up.
Yeah, for sure.
So start there. So that's awesome. So the Canadian connection and the Dallas, that's the beauty of having kind of two split personality, split geography upbringing.
No, absolutely. Yeah, glad we just brought that up. Otherwise, we would have been done within the week.
Yeah. And then what else? So yeah, that'll go. Any other things you can think of in terms of um like extracurriculars, you like sports?
Um,
Powerlifting is kind of a very niche.
yeah. I don't know. I might try to get into like intramurals this winter. I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably
that's not gonna be strong enough to connect. It's not like you're a rower or something like in crew.
No.
Squash is okay, but if you don't play like competitively, I don't know if it's gonna help much.
No, we'll see.
Um,
See what I can throw in the mix this winter and try to make it a little bit more interesting, I guess.
Yeah, well, let me know. Let me know once you get through the Canadian connection and the Texas connection, and then you might want to actually kind of once you start filling up your calendar in for the New York trip. If you can do that by the end of like February, and you have March and April to like rebuild, I would almost continue to like build network. There's only so many people you can meet in person in New York while you're there. So if you can fill that up over the next 6 to 8 weeks so that you're completely packed, and then knowing you can't meet more people, you can still connect and do calls with them in New York, but then skewing back over to Toronto again.
Yeah.
To make sure you're in Toronto, like you're super, before you even get there, you're just incredibly well connected there to every single banker in Toronto.
Yeah, no, for sure. My buddy, same school as me. He did an internship at, he's like Burgundy Asset Management, and he's gone to investment banking. So we're probably gonna like live together next summer. So he's got quite a few people he can probably connect me with.
Perfect.
So it should be good.
Yeah, the warm intro always helps, but I don't even think you need it.
No.
The hit rate's so high on LinkedIn if you have like just a personalized message. Not like a more specific message of why you're requesting a connection.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you want to shoot those over to me in the chat or on Skype or over email, just in terms of what you're thinking of going out with before you start this massive sales scheme. Massive,
the entire Canadian force in New York. Yeah.
Before you start your multi-level marketing pitch to them. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
If you want me to take a look at that, feel free. Or if you feel comfortable doing it yourself, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'll shoot that your way. We can kind of go from there.
Awesome, man. Anything else I can help with? I think now it's just about putting your head down every 4 weeks. We'll just check in. If you can just send the updates every Monday, just give me more numbers, and hopefully you'll enjoy yourself this semester and stuff.
Yeah, no, I think we'll be good for now, and
keep your GPA up. One more year. Actually, no, exactly. You're actually fine. Actually, well, I guess you gotta kind of include your GPA if it's updated by the end of this year, but hopefully you're applying without it.
Yeah, no, so, for sure.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, don't worry about your GPA. Just bomb your classes. But yeah, let me know if there's any way I can help in the meantime before our next meeting in February, and then yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, cool. I mean, really, just like don't underestimate this the importance of like putting in the work though at this stage, because you're kind of paving the path right now to potentially get to New York and or Toronto full time. Like I said, it could be a total crapshoot with when you're interning at a small bank, so you just don't know whether you're going to get an offer. Deal flow could dry up, the economy could go south, and then you're like left in a bad situation of no fault of your own. So everyone I'm interviewing who graduated in like 2008 and 2009 are like, they're like nodding right now. They're like, yep, all the offers were rescinded, or I lost my job within a year. So
there you go.
You don't want that to be you and not be well connected.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, man. Anything else?
I think we'll be good.
Okay. If there's any other questions that come up in the meantime, just shoot them my way.
Sounds great.
Awesome, man. Talk soon.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye. And thanks to you, my listeners at Wall Street Oasis. If you have any suggestions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to send them my way, Patrick at wallstreetoasis.com. Until next time.